What's up guys, Macadii here, and today guys, the Pick'em crew for week 2 of the GBA playoffs. Now unfortunately, Tom is unable to join me for this one because he is currently doing some staff training, but I hope you guys still enjoy the episode regardless. So as always, I'm going to run through the results of the week before, and also our final scores for that, and then move on to this current week and have a look at what people are picking for that. So as you can see, for week 1 of the playoffs, we have got a whole ton of red here, which I actually think is really cool. It just shows how interesting the playoffs are. There's no guaranteed winner for each of these matches, and it just makes it so much more interesting. So as you can see, we had a couple of hiccups in terms of our picks. We all rooted for Lars on the first one, and unfortunately, Dan pulled through with this one, making all of us lose a whole ton of points, especially the guys that doubled down for this one. And the same thing happened again with Miguel versus Malvone. We all decided to go on the Miguel trade for this one, and unfortunately for all of us, Malvone did manage to pull through. Now Kelly actually ended up benefiting from this one because we all doubled down, losing points apart from him, so he actually takes a little bit of an advantage from this match, which I think is quite funny to see. A lot of people called the Fizz versus John match correctly. I decided to root for the underdog alongside Baby Nick. Unfortunately, that didn't pay off for this one, so that's a bit of a shame. And then the final match, we've got George versus Nick. A lot of us called George on this one, and he ended up coming through with a win. Really good for all of the guys that double down, especially with the amount of red that we've got on here. So looking at the overall scores, we have got Burke sitting at the top there with 65 to 32, me sitting at second there with 64 to 32. Now you may be wondering why we've both got uneven numbers of wins and losses when you add them all together. That's because I've doubled down a different amount to he has, and that has an effect on how many technical games that you've betted on this one, so that's why they may not technically add up. Then we have got Hank sitting at 64 to 33, Kelly sitting at 63 to 33, Tom sitting at 63 to 34, then Baby Nick sitting at 59 to 36, and then finally Blue sitting down at the bottom at 50 to 47. So remember for this week guys, we are allowed to triple down for this one, so even for the people that are slightly further behind, they now have the opportunity to push ahead and catch up with the rest of us, and obviously we have got a chance now to launch ourselves forward and try and get that winning position. So moving on to this week's games, we have got obviously only 2 games to call for this one, so this is going to be relatively short, but we have got Fizz versus Dan for the first match, and then George versus Malvone. Now, looking at the match with Fizz versus Dan, a lot of people are going for Fizz on this one. We've got a lot of triple downs. I think everyone is tripling down for their picks on this one, which is really good to see. We have got Baby Nick and Blue there, going for the Dan, rooting for the underdog on this one. We'll just have to see how this one plays out. My thoughts on this was Fizz just showed how much his team matches up against Dan in the last game, and just how his mind games worked. He really got into Dan's head on that one, so I'm pretty sure that Fizz is going to have this match. And then moving on to the next one, we have got George versus Malvone. Now, a lot of people on the George trade for this one, and Blue is trying to pick himself back up by going for Malvone on this one, though there seems to be a huge consensus that George will be able to pull through for this one. So that was it in terms of our picks. I know this is a very short episode, but as I said, we've only got 2 games to cover on this one, so I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Let me know with your picks down below. Don't forget as well, with these ones, you can double down as well as triple down on these ones, so don't feel the need to triple down unless you really want to play risky. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and also I hope you guys enjoy the semi-finals. Macadii out.